Hi everyone, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Before I begin, I'd like everyone to just take a second to pause the video, follow the link below to the ETHNOS 360 Aviation. At the end of that link, you'll see a picture, and it's from their Papua New Guinea um, mission, and those those missions are really critical to the purpose of a lot of this speech. So I want you to take a second to look at that picture, look at all the details, and then unpause the video and then come back. I'll wait. Okay, welcome back. So I want to start out with a small story. Imagine yourself as a small child. You wake up to the sounds of birds chirping in the forest, and you roll out of bed and you put your feet on the dirt floor in your hut. And you walk out into the main family area and you talk to your parents and you ask them for food because you're hungry. But they tell you there isn't any more food left. But perhaps you should go ask one of the neighbors to see if they have any food left still. And on your way to the neighbors, you see that everyone else is pretty much in the same boat as you and your family, that there isn't a lot of food to go around. Just then, a smile comes across your face as you hear a distant humming sound, a familiar humming sound. And you turn and you look. Coming atop the hill is a very familiar small plane. And you know on that plane, people like Tim and Jane are coming to bring you food and share the word of Jesus with you and how he makes miracles happen every day. I'm Doug Ashlock, and I'm going to talk to you about the aviation career as a whole, but more specifically, flight instruction. Aviation career as a whole has room for so much growth, and every single pilot must be trained by a certified flight instructor. Personally, I've been a pilot for 4 years. I've been a commercial pilot for 2 years and a flight instructor for about 1 year. Flight instruction can open the door for more rewarding experiences to more people to become pilots that could serve roles in missionary pilots or humanitarian aid. Let's go on a journey and talk about the general requirements to be a flight instructor, the overall flight training process, as well as some of the most rewarding things of being a flight instructor. Ready? Okay, let's go. Most people in the United States actually meet the non-piloting experience or requirements set out by Title 14, Code of Federal Regulations, Part 61, which states that you must be 18 years old and you must be able to read, write, speak, and understand the English language. 18 years old. You also must have a general will to do so. Now, that's not a federal requirement. However, it will shine through in some of your work. Now, most people I encounter don't realize that the requirements to be a flight instructor are little to none. Where most people do get discouraged, though, is the next portion, my next talking point. The flight training that it takes to be an instructor requires a vast amount of time, both in the academic setting and in the airplane. Again, Title 14, Code of the Federal Regulations, Part 61, states that a pilot must have a commercial pilot's license and an instrument rating. Now, for the sense of this discussion, a commercial pilot just means that you're allowed to be paid as a pilot and that you've already completed your private pilot license as well as your commercial pilot's license. And the instrument rating allows a pilot to fly without being able to see out of the window, such as if you were in a cloud or in fog. A quick Google search might yield a result of an accelerated flight training program, such as the one from US Aviation Academy, which states that in roughly 9 months they can take you from 0 time to CFI. However, I have noticed in my personal experience that a much more realistic goal would be approximately 14 to 18 months. But that still requires you to dedicate a lot of time to it. But it just allows you to maybe not necessarily live at your school, and you might still be able to have a social life outside of flight training. Where you'll start to see all those hard-working nights and those long hours start to pay off is when you become an instructor and you get to reap the benefits of that position. The rewards of being a flight instructor are truly innumerable. They range from things like getting to fly every day, or at least frequently, to seeing the joy on a student's face when they finally grasp a concept of something that you taught them. And that reward is for both people because you share that hard work. You might also notice that that reward extends to knowing that you trained a pilot that is now growing on in the aviation industry and they're going into something along the lines of being a missionary pilot or a humanitarian aid pilot. I know that I'll never forget the first time that I allowed a student to go solo with my endorsements. My nerves and excitement were just as high, if not higher, than the students, even though I wasn't even in the airplane. It's similar to a child learning how to walk. It's something you can show them, you can teach them, but you can't do it for them. It's something they have to do on their own. And whenever they finally accomplish that, the student and you both know that they did it. And that is a very rewarding experience for everyone involved. Watching students grow up in the aviation industry is very satisfying. Watching people accomplish a goal after they've poured their life into accomplishing it is so satisfying. It's so rewarding to just know that that was something that they wanted and they got it, and you got to be a part of that process for them. Imagine the joy of a small child in a remote village that's getting to eat nourishing food because a pilot brought them that food, a pilot that you trained, and knowing that without you, that moment may have never occurred. Keep all this in mind while we recap. We talked about the general requirements of being a certified flight instructor. And we also noticed that it really wasn't that much as far as the non-piloting side. But we also talked about the flight training requirements. And it does require a bit of dedication and determination, but it doesn't take too much time if you're either of those. And the most rewarding aspects of being a CFI are those that you get to share with your students. So if a career that's full of adventures and rewards sound like it's the best way for you to serve the Lord, reach out to me and I will answer any questions that you have about flight instruction. You could end up training the next pilot that goes on to feed a starving child. Thank you.